Hey guys, this is kind of probably going to get people pissy at me. I don't care. Um, I had been, I don't know, I've just run into so many people lately that have decided to dehumanize other people. And this includes Kent Hovind and now Brett Keane trying to dehumanize Aaron Raw by giving him another name. Not even his former legal name, but now his name is Aaron Ra. Um, it just it, and Amberlynn Reed has done this with the girl that she accused of raping her, who is now a transgender man. Amberlynn was quoted in one video as saying that since I guess the girl's name at the time was Crystal, I forgot what her name is now, or his name. See, when you see people in two different positions, it's hard to get the pronouns. Um, but Amber turned around and said that she wasn't going to address. I think his name is Casey now. She wasn't going to address Casey. She was going to address by the previous name because that person doesn't exist anymore, so it doesn't matter. Completely dehumanizing Casey for what he is. Not to mention lying about the whole incident. But this is a thing. So we have various forms of trying to take away a person's identity and take away their identity as a human being. And names are very important. And now, while pronouns are very difficult to deal with, and I don't like the whole 80 plus whatever pronoun gender thing. I'm not into that. To me, there are two genders biologically, and then with a trans person, I don't even like to use trans. I know it's part of the identity and it's part of the movement right now. I just like to say man or woman. That's it. If they're trans and they're living as a woman, they're a woman. It's just, to me, what they've done with their genitalia is not my business. And I have lots of friends who are in this situation that are transgender. And there was one I didn't even know that she was transgender for a couple years, until she came out to me and said that. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding, you know? And these are people that are extremely close to me. And it's so they're male or female. They're not, to me, we're not trying to separate them out from society. We shouldn't be separating them out from society. They're human. We're all human. Period. And so this whole thing of trying to shut people out by not using their appropriate name, not addressing them as they wish to be addressed. If somebody is genuine and this is the identity they want and this is what they want to be known by, so be it. That's why nobody calls me Chrissy anymore, because now everybody's going to start calling me Chrissy just to be annoying. I'll live with it. But, I heard that so much in high school, and I hated it. In high school and in middle school and elementary, and it didn't feel like it was me. And that's just in a name. And there's only 3 or 4 people, period, that call me Chrissy. And one of them is my former art teacher from 8 years because she was my second mom. She can get by with it, you know. But that is not who I am, you know. And when I got through my divorce, it was that my ex tried to stop me from getting my mom's last name because I had married him and I was supposed to carry his name the rest of my life, even though I wasn't going to be married to him anymore, which just irritated the crap out of me. It's like, no, my identity is not tied to you. My identity is my own. And that's where it is with someone who is transgender. Their identity is that they're this gender that they have wanted to be for most of their lives. This is not... I'm not talking about the trenders that you will see on college campuses who think that, you know, oh, I'm going to be part of this special group. No. I'm talking about people who actually go through the hormone therapy, are actually living as the opposite gender of what they were born with, who want and seriously desire and feel like they are this person. And that's what it is. It isn't about sex. It isn't about fetish. It's about being that person. And just this week, I had somebody that I really, really like to begin with that has just come out publicly on YouTube. You know, this person mostly is Cliff Jumper. And so it's going to take me a bit to get used to the pronouns, but yet I see her as Laura, and I'm excited about it. I got to be one of the few to know before anybody else did, and it just made me so happy. I love being able to see somebody find their place and get comfortable in their own skin, because I had so many years that I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I was trying to be someone else all the time. And that's not fair to anybody. I mean, okay, the big thing going around YouTube right at this moment, and especially with Gillette's ad that came out, which I thought was really good. I mean, let's teach men that it's okay to care about each other and care about human beings, you know, and it's okay to teach boys to care about other human beings. But I've had people try and share memes with me where Gillette, the best a man can get, and they're showing this transgender person here that was at GameStop and had an absolute fit over being misgendered. Well, the problem was this person was already angry because at the beginning of the video, before any of that happened, there was a whole lot of swearing out of this person's mouth. They were already pissed. But people are ignoring that this was a pissed off customer at GameStop. They are all focusing on saying this is a transgender that was pissed off at GameStop. And there are people, if you look up transgender man on YouTube, or transgender man at GameStop, or even type transgender GameStop, everybody's headline says man. This person here is saying woman. And you know what? Not all trans people can pass. There are surgeries required a lot of times, things like that, treatments that are expensive. And they do call it passing to be able to look more feminine. which is why I'm going into learning the makeup. Because I would love to be able to help people feel happier about themselves. That's why I face paint. But the issue with that person is not that they're a transgender. The issue is that they were pissed off at a GameStop employee. They went overboard. Oh my gosh, did they ever go overboard? The employee apologized a lot, and it didn't matter. That's a whole nother thing there, but it's not because of this person being trans. It's the only reason it's gaining attention. And yet again, here we are dehumanizing this person because we've decided they're a transgender man, and ha ha ha, look at how funny it is. Would it go viral if it were just somebody else going rampaging nuts in GameStop? No. Why does it matter what's between the legs? And please don't give me the whole pedophilia thing. I know that's probably going to be coming from some people. When you have somebody that goes and gets surgeries and takes hormones and has castrated themselves essentially, because when they're taking hormones, they're not going to have the same drive that a man with testosterone is going to have. And they're going to have physical changes due to the estrogen. This is not a pedophile. We need to get that out of our heads. This lady here, Stephanie, she's not a pedophile. Blair White. We've all seen Blair White on YouTube. You want to turn around and say she's a pedophile? And part of the dehumanizing that's going on here too is school in Osseo, Minnesota, if I remember correctly, they turned around and ripped the door off the bathroom stall on this poor girl right here. I think that was her. The teachers tore the door off the stall while she was using the toilet. A 17-year-old girl. All because they felt she was in the wrong bathroom. So who's the predator? And who? Okay, they basically doing that. They sexually harassed a child. So who's the problem? Seriously. It's okay to sexually harass a child. Whether they're transgender or not. Is this appropriate? When they've got their bits showing and they're peeing in the toilet, this is appropriate? Shame on you. Shame on people who think that's okay. Not all transgender are going to look like this lady. And then on top of it, she's from Thailand, so she's got an easier facial structure to work with to begin with. There are some that are going to require, and of course this person, Caitlin, is not my favorite example. I don't agree with her politics whatsoever. But look at her jaw. She had to have surgery. She could afford surgery. We don't know how many of these women have been able to have surgery. But it doesn't matter. It should not matter. And that's where this gal here, who won some big, I forgot what Euro contest or something she won for singing, but she's decided to stretch the lines a whole lot further. And that's fine. We shouldn't berate people for this. Where we should be more concerned is with abuse of children. Now, I'm on the fence about there's different schools of thought on the hormone blockers for kids. I'd want to see that they actually are transgender at a young age. And I know there's a lot of psychology involved, which is not my field of study. So I really can't say much about it. As a pediatric nurse, I'm a little on the fence about it. Just because I don't know what it's going to do to like bone calcium levels, things like that. And then again, what if the child decides to change later, or doesn't want the change? But that's what the hormone blockers do, is they just put off puberty. They don't start the hormone process. They don't start the development one way or another. But I've seen documentaries on children that they're at 4 years old, and I let kids be kids. Why are we making kids so confused about gender to begin with at that age? Let them explore, let them have fun with clothes. If they want to live as a girl and do things as a girl, that's okay. If they change their mind later, that's okay. But I've seen where parents are pushing it, and that just has me kind of hinky on top. There's so many things to this whole issue. So on that, I don't know, honestly. Now, I had my daughter come out as lesbian when she was 12, but I kind of had a feeling about that when she was little, but I didn't push it. I didn't push sexuality. They played with what they wanted. You know, I got into things with her father over stuff, but it wasn't okay. We're dealing with the boys in the girls' bathroom and all of that. If we're out somewhere in public and stuff. The typical stuff. But I didn't want my children to worry about sex at a young age. Children have enough stuff to learn and to explore, things like that, to have to complicate their lives with adulthood too young. If they start bringing stuff up like that and they want to talk about it, or they're very, very, very insistent, I don't think I would take any action towards doing some serious medical changes until they were a bit older, and definitely would be with psychological evaluations and things like that. But and both of mine are in college, so that's outside the point now. But just keep in mind, not every transgender woman, not every woman looks like Cindy Crawford. Not every woman looks like a model. I mean, if you take off this word transgender here, and you just go to images, not every woman looks like her. Some women look like her. Well, hopefully not with those long eyelashes. Boy, that's kind of creepy. I'm so sorry. That's really creepy. Not every woman looks like that goddess. Of course, all these images you're going to find on Google search are all of, people's best photos, things like that. Women age. How many images are photoshopped? Let's look that up. Let's look this up. She's beautiful, but there's no Photoshop. No Photoshop. Get rid of this one. Is that a man or a woman genetically? Did they come up, were they born with two X's or an XY? If you didn't see this and if you didn't know who this person was, would you be able to tell on the street? No. No makeup. No Photoshop. No Photoshop. And then you look at the old classic paintings. Cindy Crawford. Look at her face. If you didn't know who that was, would you be able to tell that this is a man or a woman genetically? No. So what is the issue? Let's stop dehumanizing people. I know this is a complex issue and very hard to make my thoughts clear, but I had to say something. Let's stop trying to take away people's identity. And let's stop hating on people. And let's work on making this society a better place overall. Because do you know the story behind these eyes? The only story you know is your own. The story behind those eyes. The story behind those eyes. Behind those eyes. And yeah, she's gorgeous, I have to admit. Story behind her eyes. And yes, I did say her. Thanks everybody. Blessed be. Have a great day.